Hey Cancer, I just pulled cards for you, and honestly, what came through is so powerful. I wanted to sit down and share this with you because the energy around your emotional world right now is really intense, and there are some fears that have been running the show behind the scenes. I know as a Cancer you feel everything so deeply, and sometimes that depth can become a prison when fear takes the steering wheel. So I shuffled the deck with your sign in mind, asking what fear is truly controlling your emotions right now, and the cards that came forward are absolutely revealing. Let me walk you through this journey because each card is showing me a different layer of what is happening in your inner world. The first card that appeared is the Eight of Swords. And Cancer, this card stopped me in my tracks. When I see the Eight of Swords, I am looking at someone who feels completely trapped by their own mind. This is not about external circumstances holding you back. This is about the mental prison you have built around yourself. The Eight of Swords shows a figure blindfolded, surrounded by swords, unable to see that there is actually a path to freedom right in front of them. For you, Cancer, this card is revealing that your biggest fear right now is the fear of making the wrong choice. You are so afraid of stepping in the wrong direction that you have essentially frozen yourself in place. And here is the thing that makes this so painful for your sign specifically. Cancer energy is all about nurturing, protecting, creating safe spaces. But when that protective instinct turns inward in an unhealthy way, it becomes paralysis. You are so scared of being hurt, so scared of making a mistake, so scared of disrupting the emotional security you have worked so hard to build, that you are not moving at all. What I am seeing here is that you have convinced yourself that staying still is safer than taking a risk. But the Eight of Swords is showing me that this perceived safety is actually suffocation. You are not protecting yourself by staying trapped. You are just postponing your growth. And the worst part is that deep down, you know this. You can feel the walls closing in. You can sense that there is more available to you, but the fear of the unknown keeps you blindfolded. This card is also telling me about the stories you tell yourself. The Eight of Swords represents mental restriction, the lies we believe about our own limitations. What narratives have you been repeating to yourself, Cancer? What have you decided is impossible for you? Because I can promise you, most of those limitations are not real. They are just comfortable lies that keep you from having to face the vulnerability of trying something new. The second card that came through is the Tower. And I have to be honest with you, this card can feel scary when it shows up. But in this reading, the Tower is not coming as a prediction. It is coming as a revelation of what you are most afraid of. Cancer, you are terrified of sudden change. You are terrified of things falling apart. You are terrified of losing control over your carefully constructed emotional world. The Tower represents destruction, chaos, the moment when everything you thought was stable comes crashing down. And for a sign like Cancer that craves security and emotional stability more than almost anything, this is nightmare fuel. You have spent so much time building your safe space, your routines, your relationships, your sense of home. The thought of it all being disrupted or destroyed is almost unbearable for you, but here is what the Tower is really trying to tell you. The fear of things falling apart is keeping you in situations that are not actually serving you. You are holding on to structures in your life that are built on shaky foundations because you are so afraid of the chaos that would come from letting them crumble. Maybe it is a relationship that stopped working a long time ago. Maybe it is a career path that feels safe but leaves you feeling empty. Maybe it is a version of yourself that you have outgrown but are too scared to release. The Tower energy is showing me that this fear of sudden loss is so strong in you that you would rather live in slow suffering than risk rapid change. You would rather stay in the known discomfort than face the unknown possibility. And Cancer, I am seeing that this fear is connected to something deeper. It is connected to a fear of not being able to rebuild. It is connected to a fear that if everything falls apart, you will not have what it takes to create something new. There is also something here about control. The Tower cannot be controlled. It happens whether you are ready or not. And for someone like you who tries to manage your emotional environment so carefully, the idea of something happening that is completely outside of your control is deeply frightening. But the irony is that by trying to prevent any possibility of loss or change, you are actually preventing any possibility of growth or transformation. The third card is the Seven of Pentacles, and this one is so interesting in this position because it is revealing a fear that I do not think you have fully acknowledged yet. The Seven of Pentacles is about waiting, about investment, about putting in effort and wondering if it will pay off. And Cancer, what I am seeing here is a fear that your emotional investments will not be worth it. You pour so much into your relationships. You give so much of yourself to the people you love. You nurture, you support, you hold space. You remember every little detail. And underneath all of that giving is a quiet fear that it will not be reciprocated. That you will give and give and give, and at the end of it all, you will look around and realize that nobody has been giving back to you in the same way. The Seven of Pentacles is showing me that you are tired, Cancer. You are emotionally exhausted. And part of what is controlling your emotions right now is this fear that your efforts are in vain. This fear makes you resentful sometimes, even though you hate feeling that way. It makes you keep score, even though you wish you could just give freely without expectation. It makes you pull back sometimes when you feel like the balance is off. What I am also seeing with this card is a fear of wasted time. The Seven of Pentacles appears when someone is midway through a long project or journey and starting to question if they are on the right path. For you, this is showing up emotionally. You are looking at relationships, at situations you have invested years into, and you are wondering if you should have walked away a long time ago. You are wondering if you have been watering dead plants, and that wondering is creating so much anxiety because if the answer is yes, if you have been investing in the wrong things, then what does that say about your judgment? What does that say about all that time and energy you can never get back? The fourth card that showed up is the Seven of Wands, and Cancer, this card is revealing something really important about your defensive patterns. The Seven of Wands is about standing your ground, fighting off challenges, defending your position. And what I am seeing here is that you are exhausted from always having to protect yourself emotionally. There is a fear here that if you let your guard down for even a second, someone will hurt you. So you stay in defensive mode constantly, even when you are with people who love you, even when you are in supposedly safe situations. Part of you is always braced for impact, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always ready to defend your emotional boundaries. The Seven of Wands is showing me that this constant state of defense is wearing you down. It is like you are fighting battles that have not even started yet. You are protecting yourself from attacks that might never come. And while healthy boundaries are so important, what you are doing goes beyond boundaries. You are building walls so high that nobody can get in, even the people who genuinely want to love you. This fear of being emotionally attacked or taken advantage of is making you suspicious. It is making you question people's motives. When someone is kind to you, instead of just receiving it, part of you is asking what they want from you. When someone gets close, instead of enjoying the intimacy, part of you is waiting for them to prove that they are just like everyone else who hurt you. What I am also picking up with the Seven of Wands is competition energy. There is something here about feeling like you have to fight for your place in people's lives. Like if you are not constantly proving your worth, defending your position, showing up in big ways, you will be replaced. And Cancer, that is such a painful way to experience relationships. That is not love. That is survival mode. The fifth card is Wheel of Fortune, and this is fascinating because the Wheel of Fortune is about cycles, fate, the ups and downs of life. And what this card is revealing is that you have a deep fear of the inevitable downs. You know intellectually that life is cyclical, that good times and hard times both come and go. But emotionally, you are terrified of the next downturn. When things are going well, instead of enjoying it, you are waiting for it to end. When you are happy, there is a little voice in the back of your mind reminding you that this will not last. The Wheel of Fortune is showing me that you have been through enough painful cycles that you no longer trust the good moments. You feel like you are just waiting for fate to turn against you again. This fear is controlling your emotions by keeping you from being fully present in joy. You cannot surrender to happiness because you are so scared of how much it will hurt when it is taken away. And I get it, Cancer, I really do. When you feel things as deeply as you do, the lows are devastating. But the cost of protecting yourself from potential future pain is that you are robbing yourself of present joy. The Wheel of Fortune is also about things being out of your control. It is about forces bigger than you determining what happens next. And for someone who tries to control their emotional environment as much as you do, this is terrifying. You want to believe that if you just do everything right, if you are just careful enough, if you just protect yourself enough, you can prevent bad things from happening. But the wheel reminds you that some things are beyond your control, and that truth makes you feel powerless. The sixth card is the King of Wands, and initially this might seem like an odd card to appear in a reading about fear, but stay with me because what this card is revealing is actually really important. The King of Wands represents confident leadership, bold action, charismatic energy. And Cancer, what I am seeing here is that you are afraid of your own power. You are afraid of what would happen if you fully stepped into your strength, your confidence, your ability to lead your own life. There is a part of you that has learned that being powerful means being vulnerable to attack. That standing out means being a target. That taking up space means risking rejection. So you have learned to make yourself smaller, to dim your light, to stay in the background where it feels safer. The King of Wands energy is available to you. You have the capability to be bold, to be decisive, to go after what you want with confidence. But you are scared of it. You are scared of what people will think. You are scared that if you show your full self, people will not like what they see. You are scared that confidence will be mistaken for arrogance, that strength will be seen as aggression, that taking charge will make you seem controlling. This card is also showing me a fear of success in some ways. The King of Wands is successful, recognized in a position of authority. And there is something in you that is afraid of what would happen if you actually achieved the things you dream about. Who would you become? Would people still like you? Would you still fit in with the people in your life now? Would success change you in ways you do not want to be changed? The seventh card that appeared is the Star. And Cancer, this card is so beautiful, but in this context it is revealing a really tender fear. The Star is about hope, faith, believing in possibility. And what I am seeing is that you are afraid to hope. You are afraid to believe that things can get better. You are afraid to have faith that your dreams can come true. Why? Because hoping hurts when it does not work out. Believing hurts when you are proven wrong. Having faith hurts when life disappoints you. And you have been disappointed before. You have hoped and been let down. You have believed and been proven wrong. You have had faith and watched things fall apart anyway. So you have learned to protect yourself by not hoping too much, not believing too deeply, not having too much faith. The Star is showing me that you are living with one foot out the door emotionally. You are not letting yourself fully invest in the possibility of good things because you are so scared of the pain if they do not happen. This is self-protection, but it is also self-sabotage. Because when you cannot hope, when you cannot believe, when you cannot have faith, you cut yourself off from the very energy that could help manifest the things you want. There is also something here about feeling like you do not deserve good things. The Star is about receiving blessings from the universe, about being worthy of miracles. And Cancer, I am sensing that you struggle with that. You struggle to believe that you are worthy of the beautiful life you dream about. And that lack of belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because you do not pursue what you do not think you deserve. The eighth card is Ten of Swords. And I need you to stay with me here because this card looks intense. The Ten of Swords represents rock bottom, complete defeat, the worst-case scenario. And Cancer, what this card is revealing is that you are controlled by catastrophic thinking. You are controlled by the fear of the absolute worst thing happening. Your mind goes to the darkest place. When someone you love is late responding to a text, you immediately wonder if they are done with you. When something feels uncertain at work, you immediately imagine being fired and losing everything. When you feel a physical symptom, you immediately think it is something terrible. This pattern of jumping to the worst possible conclusion is exhausting, and it is controlling every emotional response you have. The Ten of Swords is showing me that you have been hurt badly in the past. Something happened that felt like a complete betrayal, like everything falling apart at once. And you never want to feel that pain again. So now your brain tries to prepare you for the worst at all times. It thinks it is protecting you by always being ready for disaster. But what it is actually doing is making you live in a constant state of anxiety and dread. This card is also about martyrdom. There is something here about a fear that you will always be the one who suffers, who sacrifices, who gets hurt. Like you are destined to be the one with the swords in your back while everyone else moves on happy and unbothered. And that fear creates so much bitterness even though you try not to let it. The ninth card is the Two of Cups. And this one made me pause because in a reading about fear, the Two of Cups is showing me what you are most afraid of wanting. The Two of Cups is about genuine connection, equal partnership, mutual love, and respect. And Cancer, you want this so badly, but you are terrified of wanting it. You are afraid that if you admit how much you want real partnership, real intimacy, real connection, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. You are afraid that the kind of love you dream about does not exist, or that it exists for other people but not for you. You are afraid that you are too much, too intense, too emotional, too needy for anyone to truly love you in the way you need to be loved. The Two of Cups is revealing that you are protecting yourself from your own desires. You are downplaying what you want. You are settling for less than what you need because asking for what you truly want feels too vulnerable. What if you are honest about needing deep emotional connection and the person cannot give it to you? What if you are open about wanting loyalty and commitment and the person walks away? What if you show someone the depths of your heart and they tell you it is too much? This fear is making you hide your true needs. It is making you pretend you are more casual than you are, more independent than you are, more okay with surface-level connection than you are. And Cancer, that is breaking your heart slowly. Living in misalignment with your true needs is a special kind of pain. The 10th and final card is the King of Pentacles, and this card is bringing everything full circle in such an important way. The King of Pentacles represents stability, security, material, and emotional abundance. And what this card is showing me is that underneath all these fears is one core fear that is driving everything else. You are afraid that you will never feel truly secure. All the other fears we talked about, the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear of things falling apart, the fear of wasted investment, the fear of letting your guard down, the fear of the inevitable downs, the fear of your own power, the fear of hoping, the fear of worst-case scenarios, the fear of wanting real love, all of it comes back to this one thing. You do not feel safe. You do not feel secure. You do not trust that you will be okay. The King of Pentacles is showing me that you are trying to create security through control, through being prepared for everything, through protecting yourself from all possible pain. But Cancer, that is not how security works. Real security does not come from controlling everything around you. Real security comes from trusting yourself to handle whatever comes. It comes from knowing that even if things fall apart, even if people leave, even if the worst happens, you have what it takes to rebuild. What I am seeing with this final card is an invitation. The King of Pentacles is stable not because nothing bad ever happens to him, but because he has built something real within himself. He has self-worth that is not dependent on external validation. He has resources that cannot be taken away. He has a foundation that can weather any storm. And Cancer, you have the ability to build that within yourself too. But first you have to stop letting fear run the show. These 10 cards together are painting such a clear picture. You are being controlled by fear that is pretending to be protection. Your mind has convinced you that anxiety is the same as preparedness, that walls are the same as boundaries, that not hoping is the same as being realistic. But none of that is true. You are not protecting yourself. You are imprisoning yourself. And here is what I want you to understand. Every single one of these fears is valid. You have reasons for being afraid. Life has taught you that opening up can lead to pain, that trusting can lead to betrayal, that hoping can lead to disappointment. But you cannot let those past experiences determine your entire future. You cannot let what hurt you before prevent you from living fully now. The truth is that the things you are most afraid of might happen. You might make wrong choices. Things might fall apart. People might let you down. The cycle might turn against you. You might hope and be disappointed. But Cancer, those things might happen whether you live in fear or not. The only difference is that by living in fear, you guarantee that you will suffer. You guarantee that you will miss out on joy, on connection, on growth, on all the beautiful possibilities that exist when you are willing to be brave. Your fear wants you to believe that the safest thing is to stay small, stay hidden, stay protected. But your soul knows better. Your soul knows that the real risk is not living at all. The real tragedy is not getting hurt. It is never allowing yourself to truly feel alive because you are too busy trying to prevent pain. So what do you do with all of this? You start small. You do not have to suddenly become fearless. You just have to start noticing when fear is making your decisions. You start questioning the stories your fear tells you. You start taking tiny risks in safe spaces. You start building evidence that you can handle hard things, that you are resilient, that you are stronger than your fear gives you credit for. And most importantly, Cancer, you start being honest with yourself about what you really want, not what feels safe, not what seems realistic, but what your heart truly desires. Because you cannot move towards something if you are not willing to admit you want it. You cannot create the life and love you dream about if you are too afraid to acknowledge that you are dreaming about it. The cards are so clear. The fear is real, but it does not have to be in charge anymore. You get to decide. You get to choose whether you are going to let past pain dictate your future, or whether you are going to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. And I have a feeling that you are closer to choosing courage than you realize. Something in you is ready for this shift. Otherwise, these cards would not have shown up this way. Thank you so much for being here with me for this reading. I know this was heavy and intense, but I hope it gave you some clarity about what has been happening under the surface. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to hear about it. And remember, awareness is always the first step toward change. Just by seeing these patterns clearly, you have already begun the process of transformation. Sending you so much love, Cancer. You are so much stronger and more capable than your fear wants you to believe. Trust that,